XRP Crash Structures. So we just got this XRP crash. Well, entire crypto market crash here. And I have to say, none of this is financial investment advice. Of course, crypto is risky because it can go down, as we saw it yesterday. It can go like that. But we're going to look at crashing structures for XRP. Invest at your own risk. We have just gone down to a big crash, and we have possibly gone up to the 0.786 level of resistance. It's tricky to figure out which daily bar here to start the Fibonacci crash structure. You know, usually we start from the peak here, and we can do that, but I was looking even a lot closer at the 1 hour chart, looking at when the volume picked up here, and there's a peak for the volume there. Looks like the volume had a little pump starting on October 10th. Looks like at 11 p.m. I think that's Southeast Asia time. I'm definitely tired looking at these charts, man. This is intense. Crypto markets be intense. All right, so we got a big dump here. We had a rapid reaccumulation potentially. Could have been smart money accumulating. And we went right up to the 0.786 line. Now, this is the XRP on the Kraken. We also have Coinbase, which is a little bit different. Then we have Binance, which dumped all the way down to 77 cents. That's insane. And then Bitstamp, it only went down to $1.58. Kraken, it went down to $1.40. I'm a fan of Kraken, so we're looking at this first off. Yeah, so it went exactly to the 0.786 Fibonacci level. Now we're going down a bit at $2.33. Could be on a little bit of a downtrend here. But it's interesting that, you know, we had the crash and then the reaccumulation, and then it actually did test the 50% level right there. So it did poke the 50%. That's actually potentially a really good sign. Let's compare this to previous crash structures that we had for XRP. There's only a few crashes that are similar, arguably. Let's take a look here. This was the other Trump tariff crash. I mean, I think that's very comparable. We saw the volume spike right around here, this bar at 1 p.m. Southeast Asia time, I believe. And we do a Fibonacci line there. And similarly, we went up. Oh, yeah, we went up to the 0.786. We passed a little bit. And then we back tested the 50% level right there. That looks pretty healthy. And then we actually hit the 0.786 a second time. But then we actually fell through the 50%. We went all the way down almost to the 0.236 level before heading back up. So that's actually really important to note that we did crash again. So in the short term, definitely don't mean to freak anybody out, but let's see what would happen in that case if we did that. So who knows? It could be like, we could even go up again. I don't know, to maybe 250 or something. But then if we fell down comparable to what that did, that could fall down to, I don't know. This is all estimation here, $1.75. But it also depends on what exchange you're on. So if it's Binance, it could go much lower, which is just crazy. Yeah, so that's like $1.75. If it repeats exactly what happened in the last Trump tariffs. And once again, this is not 100% accurate, so it could easily be a different number. It could be like 195. It could even bounce off the 50% at around 210. And this is if you're on Kraken. So that's really interesting there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are seeing something here, let me know in the comments. If you think I should be looking at something that you see in the chart. Yeah, but this almost tapped the 0.236. And then it just head back up from there. More accumulation, yeah. We had a pretty healthy recovery there. Very healthy recovery. And then let's go back to, what is this? February 3rd, we had a big dump. Now, that was not the tariff. So I'm just looking at the charts today. We're not worrying about the narratives right now. Let's see what story the chart's telling. Yeah, we had a spike in volume right here at February 3rd, 1 p.m. And this is on the hour chart once again. And this was different because we had like basically 100% recovery there, but then it back tested. Oh, actually, look at this. It actually did. It back tested the 50% level right there on that 1 hour right there. It had a dip. It tested out, back tested that 50% level, like we've done already, headed much higher, and then it back tested again. It back tested really the 0.618. So I guess that's another possibility. If we do that, you know, that would be a lot less scary, I guess you could say. We could back test like $2.26. We could even be hanging out there for a while. Yeah, so that's interesting. Okay. Shall we look at it? Coinbase? Oh, God. I don't know how many of these I want to do. I'm like fatigued from looking at all these charts. So we got a volume spike on this bar right there. Let's see, right there. Approximately there. Boom. On Coinbase, we went up. We almost hit the 50% level. Now we're heading down. We're getting pretty close to the 50% there. Okay, let me turn this other one off. So we're still above the 50% level there. And if we go all the way back to... Back. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. April 7th. Boom. When did we get the volume spiking? The first volume spike we had was really right here. We put a Fibonacci line. And if you guys have better ways to do this, let me know. But this is what I'm doing. So it almost, yeah, similar, it almost back to the test of the 50%. Then it went past the 0.786, but then it corrected again down, similarly to what Kraken did the same thing. So on Coinbase, that would be a dip to $2 around there. A dip to $2 for more fear. Just to scare you a little bit. Or a lot. Crypto markets are masters at freaking people out, right? That's what they're designed for. Sure seems like it. Designed to scare you as we get closer to Halloween in the United States. Let's look at the volume spike. I mean, yeah, like right here, I could do that. Volume spike, and then, oh, this lasted a while. February 3rd. Oh yeah, we backtested that 50% level. Boom, right there. Backtest the 50%. Then it went all the way up, and then it fell back down. And almost backtested the 50% again, but really it came down to the 0.618. So that would be a lot less scary. Well, we've already gone past the 0.618. Yeah, the fact that we've already gone down there, I don't know. It's really tricky. So either we're going to go up and then backtest back down here, or I mean, it could even just go sideways. So very tricky, very tricky. And if we went to, let's see, Binance had a much bigger dump. Boom, we go to the volume spike right here. Yeah, Binance is very different. It's all the way past the 0.786, but if it happens what happened in April 7th, Trump tariffs dump, Binance could go down to 125. But if it's much less of a dump, could go down to 175 on Binance, or even just like 195. All right. Tricky. What do you guys think? So I'm just talking about short term. You know, long term I'm pretty bullish, and the reason for that is there it is. There's the chart. Boom. Let's see if I can make this bigger. No, it's not making me. Let's go like this. Like this. Okay. So, you see this cycles indicator. It did show a dump down in October right here, and we're pretty close to that moment. I was thinking that's closer. Let's see, October, November. Wait, let's see. October. I have to eyeball this. October, November, December. Okay. So October starts there, then November right here. Yeah, so this really starts like maybe November 1st. So yeah, there could actually be more downside or more sideways price action. I would say more sideways price action. It could even be upside from here for the most part. And then look at once November comes, just according to this cycles indicator, it just goes skyrocketing from really November into December and maybe even into January of next year. Whereas the other charts that I'm looking at, like, oh my gosh, Ethereum, it's just like showing it mostly going down to the end of the year. So pretty crazy. Not really sure how XRP could be skyrocketing while Ethereum goes down. So let's see. I mean, so there's still a chance Ethereum goes a little bit up. There's a little pump here and a pump here for Ethereum, but those are pretty small in comparison. If we're right here, if this is October, November would be November right here, and December. December would be the bearish month. So perhaps November is the most likely that maybe Ethereum gets a pump, maybe not as high as people want it to go, and then XRP could get a really nice pump. Let's say November. December might be a little more iffy. We'll see. I mean, because if Bitcoin is not going up that much, let's see, October, Bitcoin could definitely have more downside, just according to this indicator. Yeah, so that's tricky. I mean, if Bitcoin and Ethereum are just... Perhaps Bitcoin and Ethereum could get a lower high, maybe. And then XRP could skyrocket. That's totally possible. And then that could be the end of the bull market. For now. Okay. I think that would be the best case scenario. Yeah. So that's why I'm leaning towards XRP in terms of putting my bags, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and putting most of my portfolio in XRP. Yeah, because it looks strongest according to that indicator. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Check out my private Crypto Astro Mastermind in the links below if you want to get much deeper dive content in my private group. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's see the comments. Oh, nice. Every coin dumped. Yeah, Sui is dumped like crazy. Yeah, it's insane. Hyper liquid. The cycles chart, I think, looks pretty good for hyper liquid. Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. XRP had bearish divergence on the weekly. On the weekly scale, are you talking about the RSI? Let's go to Yeah, the RSI, let's see. It's going down into oversold. Let me go to this one. And then let's look at the stochastic RSI. Well, I mean, it's on the weekly, it's overbought. Let's see. Oh, we're going to get a weekly update tomorrow. So that will probably send us down to the lows here, where XRP might be extremely overbought. Okay, so we'll wait for tomorrow to see the weekly close. And then the RSI will probably go down too. So the RSI is going down. Price is going down. Yeah, we'll have to check that on the weekly close tomorrow. And we could look at the 2-week scale too, I believe. Yeah, we could look at the 2-week close as well. All right, so I'll see you guys on the next video. Ideally, we do an update tomorrow. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out, everybody.